Hello and welcome to Crossing Borders with Nathan Lustig, where I have conversations with entrepreneurs doing business across borders and the people who support them, with a focus on those with a connection to Latin America. My guest today is Nestor de Haro, co-founder of Rigs and Mirafaccion.com.mx, one of the largest marketplaces for auto parts in Latin America, with more than 360,000 different auto parts that people can search and buy from different people around the region. They recently won a prize for the top e-commerce company in Mexico. Nestor and I talk about how he got his start as an entrepreneur as a grade school kid, went to university, and then decided to start a business. After co-founding it with two other partners, the technical co-founder quit. But unlike lots of other people trying to start businesses who give up when they don't have money to hire a programmer or can't find someone to partner with them, Nestor taught himself to code and built Rigs from scratch. We talk about his inflection point from an underperforming business model to a new marketplace model and his advice for other entrepreneurs who are just getting started. If you speak Spanish, be sure to stay tuned after the normal outro, as I'm testing a new segment where I put new content and we cover new ground in Spanish for about 10 minutes after we finish the English version of the podcast. Let me know if you like it. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Nestor de Haro. Hello, Nestor. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being willing to do it.
Hey, hello. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, where are you in the world today?
I'm living in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Guadalajara is like, there's a lot of people who say the tech hub from Mexico, Latin America. So I'm living right now in Guadalajara.
And what are you working on? Why are you there?
Yeah, I'm working on because I'm co-founder of a startup. The startup is called Rigs. Rigs is a marketplace. We are auto parts technology, and we have built a marketplace called Mirafaccion.com.mx, and we are centralizing potential, distributors and wholesalers, and we are connecting with the people who wants to buy auto parts online. So it's interesting because I have lived here for most of my time here in the city. And definitely one of the things that I have discovered during these 5 years in the entrepreneurship ecosystem is Guadalajara is living exponential growth.
Yeah, so I want to jump into Guadalajara in a minute here, but I want to know a little bit more about your business. So can you give us an idea of how long ago did you start and what kind of scale you're at now, like how many people are using it or whatever kind of numbers you want to share?
Yeah, definitely. I want to give you some intro from the company. We start 4 years from today. And when we start the company, we have three people on it. There's one of the co-founders and I, and a third one, which was the person who was the tech guy, the CTO. But when we start working in the company, three weeks after deciding to be full 100% dedicated to the company, that person took off. And he said he don't want to be part of the company because he didn't believe in our idea. So it was so stressful because in that specific time, we don't have money to hire someone. We have been, trying to invite tech guys, and we were speaking with 5 different CTOs, and all of them, there's some people who was interested, but they don't want to work full time. So it was so complicated. So we decided that you want to build something, we had to learn how to code. So, for example, my co-founder decided to be part of the operations management of that specific part of the company, and I learned how to code. So I was not a programmer, but I learned how to code to create this specific platform. And we are, the company has evolving. In the beginning, we were just be a search engine for auto parts. In one sentence, you can think about Google for auto parts in 5 simple steps with the year, make, model, engine, and the type of auto part that you need. You will find an auto part in an easy and a fast way. Maybe you have been thinking, okay, what is so complicated or what is so different because we have eBay or we have Car ID or we have Amazon in the United States. The complicated part is Mexico and Latin America. We don't have that specific platforms like Amazon, eBay Motors, or Car ID because information is so complicated. So we create a technology to centralize and simplifies the process, and all the data from automobile perspective, and connect it directly with the auto parts. And we have created a technology to do that, because the people who were creating companies like us, they create everything manually. So there is no escalated way to build a lot of, or to put a lot of products in one platform, creating manually relationships. So fast forward, right now, MicroFaction.com.mx is the largest specialized marketplace in Latin America. We have more than 360,000 different auto parts. We are commercializing auto parts in the 32 states of Mexico, and we have commercializing to a lot of Latin America countries, and also we have selling some auto parts to the United States. So our company is mainly focused for Mexico right now, but we have the skills, and also the how to do that, to export auto parts to Latin America. And also if there is some people who is listening on and they want to create a relationship with us to be globally, we can export auto parts from Mexico to any part of the world without problem.
Now, that's really interesting, and I want to ask lots more questions about the business itself in a bit here. But so one thing that you mentioned, which I think is really interesting, is that you started the business with a third partner who was a coder, and then you basically decided to learn yourself and do it.
Definitely.
I've heard that stories like that multiple times, but not very often. And the ones that do it like that generally end up with being very successful. So what do you think made you decide to learn to code instead of just going out and trying to find another person?
Maybe right now is different because I have learned a lot of skills different, but in that specific time, I have this situation of chicken and egg problem. We have to have money to hire someone, and to have money we have to sell something, but we didn't have nothing. And for example, for us, the two first time entrepreneurs without any past history, or we were not be part of high successful entrepreneur past company. It was so complicated for us to knock out the door for some investors, say, hey, I have this potential idea, we have the skills to create this specific platform for technology auto parts, but we don't have money. And for example, the problem that we have in that specific time is a lot of the tech people who were graduating for the college, they want to be part of high companies like Oracle, Continental, IBM, blah 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 blah. That these specific companies are centralized in Guadalajara, because some people call it Silicon Valley for Latin America. So if you don't have past success stories in your ecosystem, it's so complicated to invite people in your company in the first time. We were struggling because we were chatting with people with the tech knowledge, and these people were okay. I don't know, let me see, because I have this offer from Oracle, from blah 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 blah. And in the first time, we didn't have the money to pay that people, but we know that we will be part of something big, because, for example, in Mexico there is a one market for 118 billion Mexican pesos, which is like a $12 billion for consuming auto parts in the aftermarket industry in Mexico each year. So there is a huge market, and also we have seen a different opportunity, because the people who were commercializing these auto parts, they was 100% focused in the offline world. My co-founder and I, we were chatting a lot about, okay, what could I do? We can close the company because we have not built nothing in that 4 years ago, or we can learn something, create an MVP or creating a demo or something like that, trying to commercializing, earn a small amount of money, and then we can go to the investors and say, hey, we have built that because we didn't have knowledge for do that, but we have built an MVP, we have commercializing, and this specific MVP has providing this X amount of dollars and give us money so we can create something bigger and faster. I have to learn from code from nothing. I didn't know how to create an HTML page. So it was like I didn't know about CSS, JavaScript, but during 2 years when we started the company, my tech skills grow, and we have created some interesting technologies using Python, MongoDB. If I put my situation 4 years ago with my current knowledge, I will say that if you hire someone who already have this knowledge, you can save a lot of time. But the problem is we could not hire someone because we didn't have the money to pay someone.
So, how did you specifically learn to code? Did you take a class? Did you read books, online tutorials?
I'm an industrial engineer. So one of the things that you learn as an industrial engineer is you have to analyze his process. So that's one of the things that I discovered during the path. The same idea that you have is going to be in other parts of the world. So definitely want to be another person who has built it and maybe communicate to the world how they do that. So definitely I support myself with these specific tutorials, and also with, for me, was Stack Overflow was like my teacher, because one of the things that I have is specific problems, query situations, like, okay, this query is taking too much time, blah 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 blah. I found someone who already create that a question for me, or if I create the question, there's some other person who helped me with solve that specific situation. So that's the way I was learning. In the beginning, it was reading tutorials. Definitely, when, for example, when I was in that specific situation, uh, the tech community was like, there is some communities that today we have like 60 communities monthly. They are, creating meetups and blah 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 blah. But 5 years ago, 4 years ago, there was just like a two or three. So the people who in that specific part of the time was part of the tech, ecosystem, they don't want to help a person who was not a tech guy. They think that they were obtaining, like, I don't know what's the reason. I was suggesting, maybe I was guessing why these people didn't want to help me in that specific part of the time. But I see that the local community in that specific time didn't want to help one person without tech knowledge to acquire it. But definitely I see there is a global tech community that want to be part of helping other people who didn't know nothing, and to help them to be a better developer. So that was the way that I was learning how to code.
No, it's interesting, and it's a really good story. So, going back to your story, so where are you from originally?
Actually, I was born here.
Okay.
Today, I'm being lucky for being in the tech hub ecosystem. I'm born here.
Awesome. And so were you entrepreneurial when you were a younger kid, like through high school and college, or did that come later?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was laughing because I remember that's the question that I always ask me. And one of the things that I really like most is to be a salesperson. My dad is a salesperson for the auto parts, and definitely that's part of my DNA. So when I was a small kid, there's actually one of the co-founders. I have been a friend from him since we were 7 years old. So I have been friend from him like 22 years since that time. And when we were small kids, one of the things that my first product that I commercialized was a product that my father was received as a gift, and he was having in my house. But I asked him, hey, Dad, do you need that specific product? No, it was a gift. I didn't need it. Can you give me for me as a gift? Yeah, yeah, without problem. So I grabbed this specific, like it was like a electronic something devices, so small, because it was like when I was 10 years old. I'm right now 20 years old, so it was like 18 years old ago. So when I was with my friends, I sell one of my my friends this device, and I say, hey, I have this specific electronic device. and it cost like a 100 pesos, and you could provide your father as a gift for their incoming birthday. And this friend say, "Hey, fantastic, but I cannot pay 100%. No problem. You can pay me 10 pesos weekly." So it was, yeah. It was. I really like the sales part. And but one of the things that I really like most is like a create, commercializing something in a different way, because I'm not 100% particular. Like okay, you are going to be making a cold call, or you want to making an email. So I was always all the time trying to figure out how to create something different. And when I have this specific path, I learned how to I was part of the commercializing this product. So, for example, I have one uncle from the United States, and this uncle visit us every year. So I was I was making like a proposal to say, "Hey, uncle, I want this video game, but I have 50 pesos in my pocket. So if you are going to give me this specific video game, if I give you 50 pesos, could you purchase me this other game, which is more expensive, but I like it most?" So that's the way I was. Like I don't know, because I was so small. My father didn't teach me these things, but I really like it. So definitely when we start rigs, one of the things that I was having in my mind when I was in 18 years old, because I was studying college, was okay. In that specific part of my time, I was thinking, hey, I want to be working in a huge company, like like a Continental or Jose Cuervo, blah 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 blah, and I want to be part of that company, and I want to be a manager. So that was my thought in that part. So in like 2 years later, I was part of Jose Cuervo, um, you know, which is a company from tequila here in Guadalajara. I was part of one project, but I see a lot of things. In then when I was in my house, I was thinking, okay, I have now I know right now I know that how is this specific role of working in a big company, but I don't want to be part of it, because I don't mean that working in a big company is bad, but I personally I don't feel passion to work in this specific companies, because one of the things that I really love about the entrepreneurial path is when you are working with the right people, you can create a lot of things because you think is the best thing for the company. But maybe when you are in a big company, maybe the decisions are more specific for the person who is responsible for the area or for the department, not for the company. Or maybe there is some people who is working there because they want to feed the family, but maybe they are not 100% fascinated about the things that they are working. So that's this the during the process of being in the different definitely when you are in the market and you know what is the entrepreneur world and the big the big companies world as employee. I definitely love this part.
And so, what did you study in university?
I was studying industrial engineer as a system. That's the name of the company in Tec de Monterrey, which is the most well-known university in Mexico.
And so, what did your parents and friends and family think when you studied at the best technology university, and then you decided when you were about 24, 25 to start your own business rather than go work at Continental or a Jose Cuervo,
Yeah,
like you talked about?
yeah, definitely. That I was a crazy guy. That I think, yeah, definitely. I have heard about this specific response for a lot of entrepreneurs, and we feel the same way. And the reason is, for example, in my family, I was like the second or maybe the third person whoever to be part of the college graduate. So one of the things that I don't blame my parents, because they want the best for any son, and my father and my parents is the same way. They want the best for me, but but they saw, because one of the things that I didn't mention when we were starting, my co-founder and I, we were 1 year completely without making any sale. We didn't sell nothing, zero pesos from the technology. So we were, because we didn't have the money to create the company, we had to create some small projects for other person that say, hey, I want this, website. Please help me with do that. So we create these specific websites for super cheap, and they pay us, and they say, okay, perfect, fantastic. We have money for, for 3 months or for 4 months, 4 months, blah 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 blah. So when we were like a 1,000, yeah, 1,500 pesos left in the bank account of the company, we received the news from the one company that we were, because in the beginning, we were creating the search engine, but we were not commercializing to the right client customer. We were thinking that there is retailers, because in that specific time, this search engine has to be pay as a rent, or like a, I don't know, like a license for it, if you want to see it like that specific part. They say, okay, I want to pay you for this month, and you will want to provide me access for your search engine. And we were thinking that the retailers want to pay it because they want to be like diminish the amount of time that they were spending to commercializing and to sell another part. The thing that we were discovering as this specific auto part retailers, they don't want to pay it, but they really like this technology. So after a lot of time, more than 1 year that we were, commercializing, because in that specific time we didn't have no one to tell us that that specific thing was wrong, that trying to commercialize something without hearing, in deep to the customer. And suddenly we were, for there's a lot of, in if you are not, I was trying to communicate the person who is listening this audio, that if you don't know about the Mexican ecosystem, there's a lot of contest that, hey, if you want to be part of this incubator or accelerator, apply for this specific program. So there's one person who was part of one program in Mexico, that is, she is a doctor of e-commerce. She learned in Spain about the e-commerce and blah blah blah. So when we were communicate with that specific, after 1 year of trying to commercializing this technology, we were part of this incubator program. And when we were chatting with her, he told us one thing super important, which was, why don't you try to commercializing this technology to the suppliers of these retailers? And so it was like a eureka moment for us, because
So you guys were trying to sell direct to consumers without going to the suppliers originally?
definitely, if I want to use a anecdote. Imagine that Google wants to charge us for using your search engine, instead of, right now, the way Google make money is charging the money of the technology to the all the companies that want to be part of the AdWords program. So we were like in that specific time, like a Google trying to commercializing the users instead of the companies, the retailers who were the the principal interesting to create some technologies for these consumers, which is the retailers, to with the objective that this technology increment the sales from these specific suppliers.
Got it. So you were trying to charge basically the end user rather than the supplier. And
Definitely, definitely, it was so ground, so ground. So sorry, because I sometimes forgot some words in English, but it
I
was
don't worry.
so ground, because. But the problem is we didn't have no one, because with someone with experience definitely will help, will tell us, hey guys, don't be crazies. That specific part is a user. Go to the other part, which is the companies that they want to sell something to them, and you can charge the search engine to the suppliers instead of the users. But for us, without anyone around us with expertise, because maybe a person who is in the Silicon Valley ecosystem don't know about it, but in other parts of the world, the mentor about the thinking of mentorship is not common in other parts of the world.
Yeah, I always talk about how I don't believe that there's startups in Latin America that fail because of a lack of money, because they can do things like you did, learning how to code or going out and making sales. But what they do fail for is a lack of mentorship and a lack of people saying, no, this idea doesn't make any sense. Or, this is how they do it in the US, or this is how they do it in Europe. And you can save a year of your time or more by having good feedback. And my ask always to successful entrepreneurs in the US or even investors in the US is even just to take 15 minutes every 3 months, once per quarter, to give feedback to somebody outside of the Silicon Valley or New York ecosystem, because it helps.
Definitely, because actually we have one fantastic mentor. The name of this mentor is Benson Young. He is living in Silicon Valley, and there is maybe you remember that, or someone in the audience, that there was these MOOC programs. This I was pronouncing it correctly, right? These
Yep.
these massive online courses
Yep.
that these massive online courses was created by this one professor in the Stanford program, which is I don't remember the name for that guy, but it was a specific online course for entrepreneurship, and we and my co-founder and I, we were part of it because we want to acquire this knowledge, like super hungry about it. And one of the activities in the program was trying to find a mentor. So we contact like a 50, and just one guy say perfect. And we were chatting with this specific person. One of the questions that I asked him was, why did you choose us? Because you have a lot of U.S. companies, and we are a Mexican company. We are a company with two guys. One of them we were learning how to code. We have not make any sale. And for example, one of the things that I was always remember about his answer is, I provide help because you asked me for help. So that specific like a comment was so shocking for me, because when I was trying to obtain help in my country, in my community, a lot of people just closed me the door.
Yeah, it's amazing what one person with a little bit of experience and willing to put in a little bit of time can do. And so from your side, so you guys got started. It took you about 2 years to get to be good at coding. It took a year of bootstrapping and doing other sort of side projects to pay the bills. And then you had that inflection point, that eureka moment of deciding to sell to the other side of the marketplace. And so what happened after you made that decision? Um, did things start to go really fast right away, or did it take longer to figure out the sales pitch and start to grow?
Yeah, actually, definitely was a relief for us, because in that specific we have money for, for paying us as salaries to still to continue working. Because when we were in the first 2 years, we were paying us 3,000 Mexican pesos to us. It's like $180
Something
monthly.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, something. But it's super a lot. It's super a small amount of money. So imagine, for example, I was thinking. I don't blame my parents, but they were thinking, okay, this guy who was studying for 4.5 years in college, because I have a scholarship. My father pay a lot of money, because there's these scholarships didn't cover the 100% of the tuition. So, for example, he was paying like for semester, like I don't know, 40,000 Mexican pesos. So it's a lot of money. So So if I was earning just 4,000 for 2 years, and I was preparing, my father's was okay. I always I was having conversation each week, every week, every week, saying, "Hey, you have to let it go. You stop dreaming about it. It's not going to grow." So, but they don't want to diminish my vision or my ideas. They were providing this information because for them was you are working 20 in the first year, because I didn't for example, right now, if I want to write a piece of code, maybe I spent 1 hour or 2 hours to create something. But when I was in the first year of the company, I had to spend 15 hours to do the same work, because I didn't have the experience and the knowledge. So it was so complicated for do that specific part. And after 2 years, we received the money from this company, and we were more like, okay, phew, we have money, because we could pay us more decent salary, 5,000 pesos, Mexican pesos. So it was almost the same. It was almost the same, because it's a decent salary for someone who's working in a factory in Mexico. I don't like I was not trying to look down these specific works, but for us was we want to create something bigger. So it's it was this motivating. So after these 2 years working this, we were trying to creating the cost. We were trying to growing the customers from the search engine technology, and I was talking with a lot of managers from major wholesalers, people who were having like a 10,000 auto parts in stock, different SKUs, and millions of Mexicos invest in inventory. And I was talking with them, and they were not trying to use technology to improve their companies. And I don't blame them, because most of them tell me my business is good, I have growing, I don't need this technology to grow my company, because there are some people, some managers, they see a technology as a as expense instead of an investment. So we were chatting with these specific managers, and one of the things that I was helped me more. I was part of one program which is Reto Zapopan. They started 4 years ago, or no, 3 years ago. And this program was trying to centralize in the best entrepreneurs companies in one initial startup companies in one specific program. And one of the top 13 were selected to go to Boston for be part of Math Challenge in Boston. So because they were having a partnership with Math Challenge. So for example, when you were part of the top 13, you can go to Math Challenge to be part of for the contest that they have to acquire companies in Math Challenge. So I was traveling to Math Challenge, and one of the things that really surprised me and give me a second eureka moment, I was chatting with a mentor from the Mass Challenge program, and he told me, "Hey, but why are you building that? Because we have Amazon and we have eBay. For me, it's so easy to buy auto parts, and for me, it was like a boom. Yeah, definitely. For you, it's so easy to buy an auto part, but for our country, we have different problems. We have different necessities, and the situation that you are living in United States, Canada, Europe, that in a so clicks and a so few amounts of clicks, you can buy an auto part. We didn't have that in Mexico. So for me, it was having a huge opportunity to pivot a company or growing from via search engine technology, and to amplify and create this marketplace to connect buyers with sellers for the auto parts industry.
And so, just for some context, one quick question and then another one for context. So, you were making 3,000, then 5,000 pesos per month. What would you have made if you just went and worked in a big company with your same university degree?
If I was to understand your question correctly, what was my salary? If I
Yeah.
was, yeah, I think for my knowledge, because I have a public profile in
Mm-hmm.
GitHub and blah blah. Some companies from Europe and United States contact me and say, "Hey, I have seen your your profile, your projects in GitHub. Uh, we are interested to help you with. We are interested to you can participate in this specific position as a senior programming in Python." Because I was creating a lot of technologies like automatic backups using Python and systems with using Twilio, blah 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 blah. So for like these job offers were like $60,000.
So that would have been times about
Go.
20 gets you 600, like 1 point, is that right? 1.2 million Mexican pesos per year, more or less.
See, yeah,
Up
definitely.
up from like 60,000 Mexican
Sixty
pesos.
thousand Mexican pesos, que
So
it's
you
like
were
$5,000 yearly.
so you were really, really had skin in the game. You were really taking the risk and putting your money where your mouth
Yeah,
is.
definitely. And one of the things that, for example, right now we are not living that specific struggle because
No.
we have this 1 year and a half ago. We were presenting our company in one major event in Mexico, which is the name of that is Campus Night, which is one night in the month. One organization, which is Campus Party, create an event with they invite the speakers and also invite the startups to pitch their companies there, so they could be seen for a major amount of consumers or potential, uh, you know, uh, business relationships. And when we were presenting our company, because when we were inviting this specific campus night situation, one of the things that I was, because I was pitching that night, is I decided that I don't want to pitch my company, because if I pitch my company, someone could just Google it or put it in my website, and the people could see what's what are we doing in that specific time. So I decided to pitch about this, our story, because I really like to share our story, because that's a story that um, I don't know if it's familiar in United States or other mature markets for entrepreneur, but for Mexico, it's not that common that people are so focused or so dedicated to create something big. So one of the investors that we have right now was part of the crew in that specific time, and he saw us and he wants to talk with us. And one of the questions that I asked him was, "Why do you invest in our company, in Rex?" And him and he said, "I invest because I see how focused and dedicated you are. So you are not going to um the specific words is, you are still working until you make it work it. You are not going to be, you you,
You're not going to stop until it's
you're gonna
done.
stop." Exactly.
And so you guys are part of, in addition to having investment, you're part of Hackers and Founders.
Yeah. Yes,
And
yes.
I've talked with both Jonathan Nelson and Matt Gutierrez, episodes 24 and 26
Yeah.
of the podcast, in case you want to hear more about Hackers and Founders. Can you talk about the decision to be a part of it and how that experience has been?
Yeah, definitely. For Mexico, we were the first company invited to be part of the program of Hackers and Founders. For example, Silicon Valley, I think when we were selected, they were having like 4 or 5 different generations of companies chosen to be part of the program. One of the things that we were chosen was when we were talking with Mac and Jonathan in that specific part, is definitely we need help in some areas that we were not expertise. like for example, having a mentorship about the, you know, the for example, when we were with hackers and founders, we didn't know nothing about investment. So, for example, we leave some situations here in Mexico from some, I will say it, non-technical investors or non-qualified investors, because for me, the investors that propose you one thing, which is we were having a proposal that I say, hey, I want to invest in your company. I want to give you 2 million Mexican pesos, which is like a one $130,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's less, right?
It's like
Like
100,000 more or less.
100,000, something like that. And he told us, "Hey, I want to invest in your company. We want to make you grow. We are a successful businessman. Everything was working well." When they make the proposal and say, "But you have to give me 45% of the company,"
Yep,
was
we've seen deals like that, which either kill the company or
they just this I don't know the word for that, but they are not motivated the entrepreneur to still
yeah,
working on it.
yeah. You turn the employee into or turn the entrepreneur into an employee very
Yeah,
quickly.
but yeah, for me, it's not investment. It's an acquiring. You want
Yeah,
to acquire the technology. So if it's so different that you say, "Hey, I want the technology. I want to acquire you and your team and give you a proposal." It's okay, but they were trying to hide it as investment. So it's completely different.
so
So
speaking about investment, how much have you raised in total now, and from who?
yeah, you can see the our profile in Crunchbase about the companies. We have raised $375,000.
Awesome. And mostly from people in Mexico, or
100% people from Mexico. Actually, the first investor, uh, we were seeking 125,000, and he invested all the money by himself.
awesome.
Yeah, because it's more manageable, and definitely he believes in Riggs as one of the companies who is going to work so hard to be the major distributor of auto parts in Latin America.
And so, one other thing for context, which I think is interesting, is that, and tell me if this is true, but one of the companies that we have in our portfolio is called Pricing Compass, and they do price analytics for big retailers.
Yeah,
And when they go to the US and talk to investors and clients, they say, "Oh yeah, it's pretty easy because we have the serial number of or the part number is all the same. So the same product has the same number in Amazon, in the
yeah, it's
department stores everywhere.
standardized.
And in Latin America, it is not like that.
Definitely.
And so you have to come up with the exact same part has a different number in every single store. And so if you're going to have a marketplace, or if you're going to sell and compare pricing between Walmart and in Chile Falabella or Cencosud, um, you need to figure out technology that matches it, not by a unique identifying number.
Yeah, definitely. The you are saying 100% is true. We have built, definitely we have created one technology which we will call the transformer. Imagine the number, yeah, transformer in the name. Sorry. So this transformer were one script created by us is creating this automatically comparison between part numbers of different wholesalers and matching the part numbers which are the same. So
So it's
yeah,
just
it's more.
interesting the different types of challenges that Latin American startups have to overcome.
Yeah, and one of the things, and definitely this is a personal opinion. One of the things that Latin America has more challenge is more complicated for us as a companies to convince our market. Let me give you more idea about it. For example, our company has to make a lot of stuff, a lot of work, invest money to create trustness between the market and us, the Mexican market, because when there is one competitor that enter into the Mexican market and say, hey, I'm a company from United States or Canada, that specific word, okay, we are a US company working in Mexico, boom, completely changed the mind of the consumers. They trust the companies from outside. So for us, it's challenging. So we have to earn the respect of the market.
And so thinking about other Mexican entrepreneurs who are either getting started or thinking about starting, and I guess even just Latin American entrepreneurs in general, what advice would you give to them to either about getting started or about getting the trust of potential customers?
Yeah, it's a complicated question. So I wanna, because what is complicated, because always when I provide feedback to anyone, I always say it's my personal opinion, because when I was having a problem in the past, that there's some advisors, and there's not someone who can see me right now, but I was use a double quote on it, advisors, that they say, yeah, definitely, they were like Nostradamus, and they know the future of anything, and say, hey, you don't have to do this, or you don't have to do that, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. For me, it's an advisor, an advisement for all the audience that is listening right now. One of the things that I will provide is, if you are going to be in this specific world, dedicate 100% on your mind, your soul, your heart, because it's so complicated. If you really, really want to create something different, to change an industry, because one of the things that I was talking with my colleagues here in our country is, it's complicated for someone from Latin America that use these specific words, because people say that, okay, maybe you are like a so arrogant, or maybe you are crazy, and say you want to change our industry. You are not going to do that. So people didn't believe, and sometimes, that they could do these things. Some people want to create business to be a lifestyle business. Is everything this specific idea is, it's super valuable. It's okay. You can create a lifetime business. Sorry, that you can put a store, or a retailer, or online store, to commercializing anything, and you can grab money on it, and pay your rent, acquire a car, a house. But if you want to be definitely a changing company that's creating something different, that people say, wow, this company make my life easier, better, different, you have to be dedicated 100%.
You talked about bad advice, or people not necessarily making advice saying, in my opinion. What was the worst advice you ever got during your startup career?
There's there's a lot of them. So there is no definitely one of them like the worst, but definitely one of the things that I was always criticized to anyone who provide an advice is, if you are not part of the business or the market, it's different the way you see the market. For example, the people who was like trying to analyze the risks, we were rejected like for 20 times, 50 times, I don't know how many times. We were rejected for a lot of programs. We were rejected for a lot of, challenges, contests, because we were not sexy. We were not creating a company like putting A glasses for dogs, something like that. So for me, it was like a wow, 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 wow. Why these companies are selected to be in this specific program, or this specific, you know, blah 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 blah. Because the people who were evaluating these companies, they were evaluating the idea, but not the entrepreneurs on it. Because they definitely, for me, if I see, for example, in the future, I definitely believe that in the future I will be one person that I will invest in other companies, because I believe in them, and I will work on them. But if I see another guy with the rage, that like creating something different. And when you talk with him and you say this person wants to, you know, don't accept a no as an answer, you have to invest on it.
And so, talking about advice, so you've been at this for 4.5 years now. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time, knowing what you know today, and to the you when you were starting the business?
Yeah, I definitely. If I go back to time, I will say that person, "Hey man, you need to learn how to code," and I will give you why I advise that part. Right now, when I was talking with, because I have a fantastic team of engineers right now, and a fantastic team of customer happiness and operations. For me, it's more easy to identify potential problems, or if we were okay, we are going to tackle the solution like this. Right now, I can provide a like, hey, check this specific part, because if you do that, I think you are going to have a problem with the query or something like that. I don't know. I just providing some feedback, and sometimes happen and sometimes don't happen. But definitely one of the things that I was suggesting is keep learn how to code, and don't, and because when you are part of these specific situations, sometimes you feel like I don't know, man. It's complicated. It's complicated because you have everything against you: situations, money, family, because they want the best for you as a family, and they don't want to see you suffering, because you're suffering in the beginning.
And so, what's next for you and for Riggs going forward? What's the goals for 2018?
Definitely is one of them is growing the platform first as a consumers, growing the platform for example, Mexican territory. But one of the things that I definitely want to tackle more is creating astonishing, successful, or amazing tools for the people who wants to buy auto parts. Imagine right now. Well, I will not provide some information because I want to be like I want to be surprised for anyone who's going to use it. But right now, you need to find another part in 5 steps in our website. Sometimes in other website you have to find in 1 step or 2 step. Maybe use a open search from eBay, Amazon, blah blah blah. But if you want to create a search that is not standardized, it's a real challenge. As a consumer, we want that. We want the tools help us with make the best decisions, because the tools have to be doing the repetitive task. As a human, we need to think in the creative things. So I'm thinking how to create that, create the creative technology, create these tools so the person could delegate the complicated and the most boring task to the computer, because that's the way I saw this specific. So definitely for 2018, you're going to see a different rigs. One of them we created amazing technology for choosing another part in an easy and a fast way. And definitely one of the things that I saw is exporting auto parts to other countries. For example, right now we are helping people from Argentina, for Colombia, for Chile. The website is not 100% customized to create automatic orders for Latin America, because we are tracking the orders and they are not like right now super valuable to create an automatic process, because we have to invest resources, money, time, blah, 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 blah. But definitely if someone is from Latin America in your audience and want to buy another part of our house, definitely we can ship to them. So I believe the Latin America purchases from auto parts on other countries, maybe there are some people from Nepal, from people from, I don't know, Asia or Singapore, that maybe they want to acquire auto parts from Brembo. For example, we are a official online retailer from Brembo in Mexico. So maybe that person wants to buy another part because that brake pads are fantastic, are super complicated to find in his country. We can help you with that.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to see what you and Riggs get up to in 2018. And thanks again for doing the podcast. Really
No,
appreciate it.
thank you so much, and for hearing me. I think the most valuable thing any entrepreneur could do is share his experience. Sometimes we are so emotional because we remember the complicated part of the past, and sometimes our voice changing. But it's part of this amazing path where you convert something against you because you feel like you are in the ground with the face completely in the ground and you are getting up more strong.
I think that's a great place to stop. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Crossing Borders. I hope you enjoyed it as much as Spar 1974 has liked previous episodes. Thanks for the great review on iTunes. I really appreciate it. And thanks for listening. As a reminder, if you speak Spanish, stay tuned after the outro for 10 minutes of new content in Spanish. Please let me know if you like it, and I'll keep doing bonus material after the shows. As always, if you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. You can also find past episodes and show notes on nathanmuscle.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Hola Néstor, bienvenido a la versión en español del podcast.
Hola, muchas gracias, Nadia.
No, gracias a ti. ¿Cómo se llama tu negocio y cómo partiste?
Ok, nuestra empresa se llama Rix. Somos una empresa de tecnología para la venta de autopartes en línea. ¿Y cómo nació la empresa? Fue a raíz de hace 4 años. Directamente yo tengo más de 10 años vendiendo autopartes por el negocio de mi papá. Mi papá tiene más de 30 años vendiendo autopartes. Y durante el proceso, cuando yo vendía una autoparte en una refaccionaria, se me hacía muy difícil poderla vender a otros. Cuando me decían, oye, quiero una bobina para mi carro. Entonces nació la idea de por qué no crear primero un buscador para que pudiera yo vender autopartes de una forma muy fácil y sencilla, que después de estos 4 años, ya ahorita creamos un producto, tenemos un marketplace que se llama mirefaccion.com.mx, que tiene más de 360,000 autopartes en un solo lugar, de múltiples proveedores. Cualquier persona de México puede comprar autopartes, las mandamos directo a su domicilio. También hemos hecho ventas a todos la audiencia de Latinoamérica. Y también hemos hecho varias exportaciones hacia Estados Unidos. Entonces, eso es principalmente, en resumen, a qué es Rix y a qué nos dedicamos.
¿Y cómo partiste con eso? Cuando estabas en colegio, ¿eres un tipo emprendedor? ¿O después cómo aprendiste y tuviste un punto de inflexión y empezaste con startups?
Sí, claro. A mí personalmente me gustan mucho las ventas. Seguramente lo heredé de mi papá. Platicaba en la versión en inglés que en una ocasión mi papá tenía una tableta electrónica hace más de 18 años y en esa tableta electrónica pues yo le pregunté si la necesitaba, me dijo que no. Entonces llegué y directamente se la ofrecí a un amigo, le dije que se la vendía en 100 pesos, entonces me dijo que no la podía pagar completa de una sola vez, entonces le dije que se la podía vender a plazos, ¿no? Semanales. Entonces ese fue como de las experiencias que he tenido toda mi vida en el tema de ventas. Siempre me ha gustado mucho el tema como de. También recuerdo muy bien que mi tía tenía me regalaba, una tía que tengo de Estados Unidos, venía cada año y me regalaba cosas en Navidad. Yo le decía, oye tía, quiero este videojuego, pero tengo otro dinero aparte, ¿qué te parece que con lo que me ibas a pagar el videojuego más el dinero que yo te doy, pues me puedas comprar el videojuego que quiero y que vale más caro? Entonces siempre era esa forma como de agarrar y analizar la situación y buscar Digo, en ese momento pues no lo pensaba así, ¿verdad? Porque estaba muy chiquito. Pero pues esa fue como la forma como me desenvolvía. Y ya conforme iba pasando el tiempo, pues me iba involucrando más en el tema de ventas y hasta después, cuando se vivió el proceso de estar en este negocio familiar, ver la oportunidad de emprender para crear algo diferente.
Y cuando partiste con tu negocio, después de haber estudiado en una buena universidad, con una buena carrera y todo eso, y no tenías un buen sueldo por los primeros 2 o 3 años, ¿cómo reaccionaron tus papás, tus amigos, el resto de la familia?
Claro, Definitivamente, pues la familia siempre quiere lo mejor para sus hijos, ¿no? Mis papás querían lo mejor para ellos, para mí. Entonces, pues me imagino que se les era muy difícil ver que, por ejemplo, yo tuve una carrera, bueno, más bien una beca universitaria, donde mi papá pagaba, no recuerdo muy bien, pero entre 40 y 50 mil pesos semestrales, perdón, por mi educación universitaria, y ver que pues, durante los dos o tres primeros años pues no había ingreso eh, suficiente, porque pues en ese momento, cuando Jorge y yo, que somos cofundadores de la empresa, pues empezamos la compañía, pues nos pagábamos muy poquito, nos pagábamos 3,000 pesos mensuales, que son aproximadamente como $180 mensuales, pues para sobrevivir, porque esa es la palabra, era una supervivencia, porque pues en ese momento duramos un año completo sin vender, entonces lo que hacíamos era como proyectos como laterales, pero siempre como buscando que esos proyectos fueran nada más como para inyectar dinero en la empresa. Entonces, definitivamente, pues mi familia en ese momento, pues te podría decir que ya conforme iba avanzando el tiempo y seguíamos teniendo este tema de 90, eran pláticas 2 o 3 veces por semana o a veces diarias, de que, ¿sabes qué? Pues considero que ya es momento de que dejes ese sueño, pues está bien soñar, pero pues para que sueñes de más. Entonces, no lo hacían como para no apoyarme, sino más bien considero y respeto que era pues era un comentario que me hacían, pues buscando mi propio bien desde su punto de vista, ¿no? Entonces eso fue lo que más resultó de esa etapa de mi vida.
Y hoy en día, después de que ya cuentas con inversión de un par de fondos de inversión y también estás en Hackers and Founders y ahora con un negocio que tiene muchos usuarios, más de 360,000 auto parts en el sitio. ¿Qué dicen tus amigos y tu familia ahora?
Pues definitivamente ya no es todos los días de estar hablando de esa parte. Este, ya es más tranquilo, ya directamente pues se puede. Más bien siempre buscamos como hijos compartir las buenas noticias, ¿no? De repente, por ejemplo, esta semana, el día jueves, tuvimos la noticia de que Rix fue seleccionado como una de dentro de 6 categorías que tenía un premio nacional que hace la revista Expansión, que es muy famosa aquí en México, como lo mejor de e-commerce para México. Y nosotros este año quedamos en primer lugar en uno de, la, de las categorías. Entonces, pues es como compartir esa parte de los logros, no decir, pues en un principio pues no vendíamos nada y ahorita 4 años después pues ya somos parte de un grupo de compañías. Por ejemplo, al lado de nosotros pues está Monte de Piedad, que es una empresa que tiene 80 años, Aeroméxico, MercadoLibre, que son monstruos en tema de venta, comparado con una startup, ¿no? Que tiene menos ingresos, pero que definitivamente pues, nuestras ganas son superiores a la que cualquier empresa de ese tipo, porque nosotros sí estamos 100% comprometidos y enfocados en que la empresa de Rix sea una compañía diferente, ¿no?
Sí, felicitaciones por los avances, muy, muy bien. Y por el otro lado, muchos emprendedores cuando postulan a Magma o conversan conmigo dicen como, ya, yo no sé programar, y lo usan como excusa para no partir. Y también dicen, yo necesito inversión para partir, para poder contratar a un programador. En tu caso, en vez de usarlo como excusa, tomaste otro camino. ¿Qué hiciste y cómo lo hiciste?
Claro, compartí esa es una historia que nos gusta mucho compartir. Cuando empezamos la compañía éramos 3 personas. Éramos Jorge, que sigue siendo cofundador de la empresa y estamos todavía trabajando aquí juntos, y una persona más que era como el programador, el experto, el CTO. En ese momento pues ya era el quinto intento de programador, porque hace 4 años el ecosistema de emprendimiento en México de alta tecnología estamos todavía, estamos muy en pañales, pero en ese momento estaba inexistente. Entonces era muy difícil convencer a alguien que supiera programar, tomando en cuenta que tuviera sueldos en IBM, no sé, en Intel, en Continental, que eran de 25 o 30 mil pesos libres, y cosa que nosotros no podíamos pagar. Entonces lo que en ese momento se decidió es que una parte pues aprendí a programar. A mí me tocó aprender a programar, entonces aprendí a programar desde cero. Cuando estudié la carrera directamente de Ingeniería Industrial y Sistemas, pues sabíamos en ese momento como ingenieros manejar procesos, estadísticas, análisis de datos, pero no nos enseñaban absolutamente nada de programación, ni menos de programación web. Entonces, lo que se hizo con nosotros durante 2 años, sin inversión, sin un CTO, pues se aprendió a programar para crear las primeras versiones de Rix, ¿verdad? Y que durante 2 años nuestra idea era, bueno, creamos una tecnología, salimos al mercado, hacemos unas ventas y con las ventas generadas, pues ya podemos obtener de esos ingresos a alguien que pueda venir y programar y demás. Y pues conforme durante 2 años, pues seguíamos en el proceso de búsqueda, le movemos por aquí, le movemos por acá, y pues las habilidades de programación fueron aumentando, y ya conforme iba avanzando el negocio, llegó un momento donde pues directamente hablamos con un inversionista. Este inversionista le gustó mucho nuestro equipo, invirtió más en el equipo que en o sea, que la tecnología, que es muy buena, pero invirtió más en nosotros por haber conocido que pues esas situaciones de no tener dinero, no tener programador, no nos detuvo a nosotros, como ni tampoco se utilizó en ese momento como una justificación de por qué no podíamos avanzar si no teníamos esos elementos, sino más bien buscamos la forma de cómo hacerlo, sobre todo porque estamos en una industria muy especializada. Entonces pues hay conozco una emprendedora que, por ejemplo, ella tampoco tiene un equipo técnico, y lo que hizo fue montar su página en Wix con la finalidad de pues contratar otros, ahorita, por ejemplo, servicios que no son 100% adecuados a lo que ella busca, pero lo que hizo fue agarrar como pedazos de tecnologías que están en el mercado y poderlas medio ensamblar con la finalidad de seguir creciendo, ¿no?
¿Y qué consejos les darías a personas en México, en LATAM, que están pensando en emprender o están recién partiendo?
Claro, pues uno de los principales consejos, y esta es una opinión muy personal, es que no esperemos que el gobierno venga y nos vaya a solucionar los problemas que tenemos en nuestra sociedad, que es algo que comúnmente me toca escuchar, que esperemos que el gobierno nos dé subsidios para arrancar nuestras empresas, o que no nos dieron el premio, no nos dieron una licitación en el CONACYT, o bla, 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 bla. Entonces, definitivamente en México, una de las cosas que me llamó mucho la atención en un viaje que se hizo en Silicon Valley hace 2 años y medio o 3, no recuerdo bien, pero fue que cuando se estaba platicando que nosotros, por ejemplo, en una ocasión aplicamos para un fondo gubernamental para una computadora nada más, de 20,000 pesos, que son como $1,000. Y lo que me llamó mucho la atención es que cuando se le estaba platicando a estas personas de Silicon Valley, les llamaba mucho la atención porque decían que ellos, por ejemplo, absolutamente nada de que lo que ellos habían vivido provenía del gobierno, todo era de lo que es la iniciativa privada. Entonces, me llamó mucho la atención porque a veces creemos o queremos considerar que pues, necesitamos que el gobierno nos dé las cosas para nosotros poder avanzar. La verdad es que nosotros, en nuestra experiencia, tuvimos una muy mala situación con ese tema gubernamental, porque la computadora la necesitábamos de ya. Así, o sea, por ejemplo, recuerdo muy bien ahorita una anécdota, teníamos una computadora que se tenía que prender con una moneda, porque tenía unos cables así como le llamamos aquí en México pelones, que son como cables que estaban ahí desunidos. Y lo que hacíamos era agarrábamos una moneda para que hiciera como que pasaba la corriente y se prendía la computadora. Entonces, pues era un tema de que pues, no le pedíamos a nuestros papás para comprar las computadoras y aplicamos para el fondo, y después de como 4 o 5 meses nos lo dieron. Entonces, de ahí en adelante nosotros decidimos en lo absoluto esperar a que un gobierno nos diera dinero, porque definitivamente no van a la misma velocidad a la que nosotros necesitábamos en el capital. Porque pues era de que, oye, justifícame la computadora. ¿Y qué productividad incrementaste? O sea, son muchas preguntas que las tienen que hacer para justificar la inversión, pero que nosotros pues, tenemos una computadora que sirve, o sea, eso es el 100% del incremento. Ya no tenemos que andar aprendiendo con una moneda. Entonces, eso es algo que yo le recomendaría a la gente de México Latam. Y segundo, sería que una de las cosas que personalmente considero que aquí en la TAM no nos damos como tanto la oportunidad de creer que podemos cambiar las cosas, ¿no? De utilizar palabras como que queremos cambiar, o no, que estamos trabajando para cambiar, porque también esas palabras, de creemos que sí, pues definitivamente lo mejor es decir, vamos, o sea, las empresas que estamos trabajando para cambiar una industria de cómo se hacen las negocios, cómo se trabaja, cómo se vende, cómo bla, bla, es muy difícil porque a veces es como de, oye, pues tú quién eres para estar diciendo que vas a cambiar las cosas, no, estás en Estados Unidos o hace poquito leí un artículo que decía un ciclista, no estás en Alemania ni estás en Suiza, ¿no? No, pero la verdad es que no estamos ahí, pero el mindset que tenemos que tener es mindset global, que podemos hacer las cosas, que lo que necesitamos hacer es prepararnos más, eh, adoptar literatura global, la mejor literatura definitivamente está en inglés, entonces constantemente mi recomendación sería tener a la mano libros que puedan ayudar, por ejemplo, a tu mercado, tu persona, a tu equipo, y pues esa información ayuda bastante porque de ahí salen ideas geniales, muy, muy, muy padres.
¿Tienes algunos blogs, libros, videos, documentales que le recomiendas a emprendedores?
Claro, en mi perfil de Google Plus, que creo que la red social que está por morir, pero no sé, digo, la red social que no todo el mundo utiliza, tengo ahí los libros que he leído en el año, me puse una meta en el año de leer 12 libros, entonces al día de ahora he conseguido leer, ya directamente 10, y aquí coloco, por ejemplo, de los que he leído de este año, Zero to One, de Peter Thiel. Para quien no lo conozca, pues él estuvo directamente en el equipo de PayPal. Y una de las cosas que me llamó mucho la atención es que en ese momento, cuando ellos crearon PayPal, lo que estaban buscando es que estaban obsesionados por la parte de crear una moneda digital en ese momento, ¿no? Que ahorita la compañía empezó a crecer y demás. Él fue uno de los primeros inversionistas de Facebook. Entonces habla mucho como del pensamiento para pensar como un startup, pues definitivamente hay que pensar que las cosas tienen que ser así, increíblemente diferentes, ¿no? El otro libro que leí se llama Good to Great, que es cómo pasan las compañías de ser buenas a ser increíbles, high Output Management, que es directamente pues un tema más como para cuando estás en el tema de CEO y de management. Otro de Focus de Daniel Goleman, a él directamente los libros de inteligencia emocional. Cuando lo leí ese me fascinó, ese es el libro por excelencia porque definitivamente podemos perder muchas negociaciones y podemos perder muchos colaboradores y muchas oportunidades por un mal manejo de nuestras emociones. Otro es de Execution, que habla como la disciplina de hacer las cosas, de terminarlas. Otro que leí fue el de Web Analytics 2.0, porque estamos en una industria tecnológica, entonces también no es un libro como lo recomiendan mucho para marketing managers, pero definitivamente a mí como tomador de decisión de este lado, pues tengo que conocer qué ideas me pueden proponer, qué cosas, pues no todos sabemos todo, ¿no? O sea, definitivamente cuando te platican ideas de, oye, fíjate que en este libro leí esto y considero que debías de tomar esta parte, lo recuerdo que era como tal cosa, entonces ya van al libro, lo ven y, mira, está genial esa parte. Y ahorita estoy leyendo uno que se llama, lo voy a leer porque está muy largo, pero está bastante bueno. Se llama Clean Disruption of Energy and Transportation, How Silicon Valley Will Make All Nuclear, Natural Gas, Coal and Electric Utilities and Conventional Cars Obsolete by 2030. Entonces habla de cómo la tecnología pues va definitivamente a disrupcionar el mercado de la industria automotriz que estamos y hasta la industria de las autopartes va a cambiar en los próximos años, ¿no? Entonces no hay que esperar, bueno, desde mi punto de vista no voy a esperar hasta que llegue ese momento, sino estar viendo qué vamos a hacer o cómo tenemos que movernos. Y el de Mentorship también, ese es uno de los libros, porque estoy tomando el curso de, pues, cómo conocer cuando hay una buena propuesta de inversión, conocer como los detalles de un cap table, de cuáles son los métodos de inversión más comunes, convertible note, safe y demás. Entonces son de los libros que ahorita tengo así a la mano y que definitivamente personalmente me han servido.
Y Venture Deals también recomiendo mucho. También hay una versión en español que sale como el doble de la versión en inglés, pero si prefieres leerlo en español, existe.
Ok.
¿Y dónde te pueden encontrar online
Claro.
fuera de Google Plus, que va a
Google
morir?
Plus, exactamente. Mira, me pueden encontrar en Twitter. Estoy como @Nestor de Haro. Y de Haro se escribe con H. También me pueden encontrar en Facebook. También estoy ahí como Nestor de Haro. Igual es Facebook. Ahí sí estoy como Nestor Hugo de Haro. Ese es mi perfil. Es facebook.com/Nestor Hugo de Haro. Y ahí pueden ver mi perfil. Y me pueden encontrar como en mi correo electrónico, se los comparto, el corporativo es nestor@rix.com.mx.
Perfecto. Muchas gracias por hacer el podcast y espero ver muy buenas cosas para Riggs en 2018.
Perfecto, claro que sí. Muchas gracias por la invitación. Te agradezco, Nathan.